حسابا. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا. يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا. ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا. إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فلا أقسم بالخنس الجوار الكنس والليل إذا عسعس والصبح إذا تنفس إنه لقول رسول كريم ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين مطاع ثم أمين. وما صاحبكم بمجنون ولقد رآه بالأفق المبين. وما هو على الغيب بضنين وما هو بقول شيطان رجيم. فأين تذهبون إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين لمن شاء منكم أن يستقيم وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله رب العالمين. صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Just as a reminder, inshallah ta'ala, tomorrow we have our Mawlid Nabi program, our annual program And we will be doing it here, as this is the month of Rabi al-Awwal. We will be doing it here in the park, in this space, inshallah ta'ala. So we invite you all to join us for that tomorrow. It will be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, inshallah, and it will finish by Maghrib here. So we have put online the program that we will be doing, so everybody can print off or download ahead of time. We're not going to be passing out books as we do in previous years, but you can get it online either on your phone or print off at home and bring the copies with you, inshallah ta'ala, so that you can fully partake in the program. As with our regular Juma programs, it's going to be the same tomorrow. Please make sure you maintain social distancing, bring your masks, bring your own prayer rugs, etc., inshallah ta'ala. The program will be, like I said, it will start at 4. You should be finishing by Maghrib about 6 o'clock. So plan accordingly for that. Also, obviously, it will be Saturday, it will be the afternoon, so we will have some of our fellow neighbors in the community maybe about as well. And so just make sure in terms of the parking, it may be a little bit more difficult than it is normally on Juma. So just make sure you park legally, follow all rules, inshallah ta'ala. And let's be on our best behavior as we're celebrating the Messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And if you would like to share something of our tradition with many of our non-Muslim neighbors and friends who will be with us tomorrow. So inshallah, that's it. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, the information is on the website for that. Assalamu alaikum.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله
وابعثه اللهم المقام المحمود الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وحبيبه صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وعلى صحابته الكرام ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أوصيكم في نفسي بتقوى الله في السر والعلن. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. My dear brothers and sisters, I address you and myself by saying that Allah has honored us. And this time of year is a time of shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us possibly the greatest tashrif and honor that a non-prophet can receive. Aside from the Anbiya, we've been given this honor. It's the greatest honor that a regular person can receive. It's such a great honor that according to a narration from Wahb ibn Munabbih, that the great prophet Musa alayhi salam, and what honor has Musa seen? He saw the Red Sea split when he struck it with his staff. He spoke to Allah directly at any time that he wanted. Kalimullah means at any time that Prophet Musa wanted to speak to Allah, he would walk away from the people and he would speak, and Allah would reply to him about any matter, not matters of law, any matter. Oh Allah, why haven't you answered so-and-so's prayer? Oh Allah, why did you create the hellfire? This is Kalimullah. Yet, he wished that he had this honor until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, "Oh Musa, خُذْ مَا أَتَيْنَاكَ وَكُنْ مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ." Oh Musa, you're asking for this one more honor that you can't have. Take what we've given you and be from the grateful. SubhanAllah. خُذْ مَا أَتَيْنَاكَ وَكُنْ مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ. Take what we've given you and be grateful, because he wanted this honor. And what was it that he asked for? According to this narration from Wahb ibn Munabbih, it's that he saw the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He had never seen an ummah like this. Their swords are on their hips, and their capes of worship on their shoulders. They pray wherever they wish. Their numbers have filled the earth. Unlike Bani Israel, they're only living in a small area. They make tawaf around the Bayt. There's no such ritual of tawaf. But Sayyidina Musa saw tawaf. He said, "What is this, my Lord?" This is the ummah of Ahmad. He said, "Oh Allah, make me from the ummah of Ahmad." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Ya Musa, خُذْ مَا أَتَيْنَاكَ وَكُنْ مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ." Take what we've given you. How much has he given Musa alayhi salam? You would think he's given Musa so much. Nothing compares. I'm Kalimullah. He's Kalimullah without pride. He speaks to Allah whenever he wishes. He split the Red Sea. He drowned the Pharaoh. How many prophets, tell me, how many people on this earth, prophets, non-prophets, have been so tortured for generations and decades, and then were able to stand at the top of a hill and watch their enemy be tortured, crying for help? You know how much cure that is for the heart? But no, after all that, he wanted to be from the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And just as you take it as a belief, aqidah, that angels exist, you haven't seen them, you believe they exist. You believe in the day of judgment, you haven't seen it, take it as a belief. Believe in Allah Himself. You haven't seen Him, you take it as a belief. Likewise, that the greatest honor that we can have is that we're followers of Sayyid al-Kawnayn, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And why is that? Because he's the most beloved to Allah. He's the only one that Allah said about him that He sends salah upon him. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say, honor this messenger, send salah and salam upon him. He didn't say it like that. He said it by first demonstrating it. He said, Allah and His angels do it, so you do it. Allah and His angels, what does it mean that they send salah? It means He's constantly elevating the rank of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and demoting those who mock him. Inna kafaynaka al-mustahzi'in. As-salah upon the Prophet from Allah to the messenger is a constant elevation of his rank, which is in Surah Al-Duha, وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. And what is to come is always better for you than what has passed. That's the meaning of this ayah that you recite all the time. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. What is to come is always better for you. This is Allah's love for one. He always increases his rank. And His salam upon him is that anyone who has animosity to him, anyone who mocks the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah Himself takes care of his enemies. That Allah Himself takes care of his enemies. The Prophet was one day saddened, and this Prophet was an orphan. He knew sadness better than anyone else. In a tribal world, not in our world where people don't even want their dads anymore. No, in a tribal world that you don't survive without a dad. Not only that, he didn't have a mom. Not only that, he didn't have a grandfather. He lost his grandfather too. Complete orphan. Complete, no wealth was inherited to him. He had no wealth. He was shepherding at the age of 25. That means the lowest possible job is what he's doing at the age of 25. And of course, for the Anbiya, there's great wisdoms for it. So it's nothing, the word low is not even appropriate to be in the same sentence with the Prophet. But he knew sadness more than anyone else. No siblings to distract him from his sadness. You can have a bad parent, you can have a bad day, you can have a tough life. But if you have siblings, at least they distract you from your pain. You can suffer together. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no siblings. And so when Allah sees him sad, He never allows him to stay sad. So one time, Abu Jahl and Umayyah bin Khalaf, they had saddened him, they had insulted the Prophet so badly that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went off to the side, and he was sitting and he was sad. Sayyidina Jibreel came to him with revelation. Inna kafaynaka al-mustahzi'in. Allah will take care of anyone who mocks you. Will be taken care of. And this is an ayah until the end of time. Follow the track, the person who mocks the Prophet today. We have plenty. There's so many today. They make fun of the Prophet. Not they disbelieve. Disbelieve, fine. Like Abu Sufyan, we'll deal with them. But mockery, they made fun of him. Follow them. How about in Texas, the guy who has a Christian college? No problem with Christians, Ahlul Kitab, but he mocked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Follow his track record. A few years later, in humiliation, and now being sued, and now in utter poverty, and embarrassed, and cannot even enter in public life. What's his name? I can't even remember his name. Allah wipes away their names. Literally, their names get wiped away. As Allah says, Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. The one who opposes you, he's abtar. He's cut off. Everything about him is cut off. No lineage, no memory, no legacy. Show me one person with a great legacy who mocked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Jibreel alayhi salam came to the Messenger of Allah and he said, name them. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Abu Jahl. And Jibreel showed him an image of Abu Jahl and put his hand on his throat. He said, Umayyah bin Khalaf. He showed him an image of Umayyah bin Khalaf and he put his hand on his stomach. Named them. And he said, Safwan. And he continued giving names and names and names. And Jibreel would just touch them, touch them, touch them, touch them. What is this, O Jibreel? The Prophet asked, what is this? What is this touching? He said, Inna kafaynaka al-mustahzi'in. We will finish them off for you. Anyone who mocks you, that's how much he is beloved to Allah, that Allah takes care of him. Fast forward a few years to the Battle of Badr. And every spot that Jibreel touched is where those mockers of the Prophet ﷺ were struck in the Battle of Badr with the death blow. Allah Ta'ala has a khira for His Prophet. He doesn't want anyone touching His Prophet. Not only this, anyone, of no matter how sinful this person is, if this person turns to the love and salah on the Messenger, or anything to do with the Prophet, be it love, be it reading, be it salah and salam, being serving his cause, that person, the punishment cannot touch him. The punishment cannot touch him. The punishment will never touch a person who loves the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah says in the Quran, وَأَنْتَ فِيهِمْ. You would never be punished as long as you are amongst them. The Mufassirin said, the Quran is for all time. So what does it mean, this ayah? It's not mansukh, it's not abrogated. It means anybody who has mahabba for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At that moment that he has mahabba for the Prophet. Because you might not be thinking of the Prophet all the time, but there may be a moment where some love enters your heart for the Prophet. Peace be upon him. At that moment, the punishment, you have a veil between you and punishment. No matter what a person does and has done in the past. And now we have to understand the value of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the value of a conduit. Certain medicines you can't, they have to be put in a pill. Certain sauces and foods, they have to be made in a certain ingredients to hold the ingredients together. Anyone who cooks food knows this. You don't need, certain ingredients aren't the point, but you have to have them to hold all the other ingredients together. The conduit is as important as the content itself. And the Quran is the content. But the conduit of it all is the Messenger of Allah. He's the one who shows us how it's to be lived. He's the one who brings all the virtues together and shows us how it's to be balanced. And therefore the ulama have said that a person who lives just by reading the example and following the example of the Prophet ﷺ will have truly understood Islam, even if he's never recited the Quran and studied it. And in contrast, a person can devote their entire life to studying the Quran and he ignores the Prophet. He said, no, the Prophet just came to deliver it. And only the Quran is what matters. And that person will guaranteed be astray. Why? Because the Prophet is not just someone who sends the message, he models the message. And someone says, how could you say this? The answer is very simple. How many Sahaba were scholars? Very few. Yet how many of the Sahaba knew the Prophet ﷺ and saw how he lived and worshipped Allah and how he interacted? All of them. They all knew that. They may not have known the rules, the doctrine, the book. Many Sahaba said this. They said, oh, Messenger of Allah, it's too much. Give me a summary. Many didn't know the rules, but they did know the Prophet ﷺ. They did see him. And when they saw him, not only did they learn, but they fell in love with him. And this is why Sayyidina Ali said, whoever sees the Prophet from far is afraid of him. But as soon as you see him from close, you fall in love with him. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ, being our Imam is our greatest honor. And now that Allah has given us an honor, you have to take care of it. It's one thing to be given an honor, it's another thing to take care of an honor. Someone can give you a job, it's a great honor. If I was to make you president of the company, it's a great honor, isn't it? But you got to show up to work. You got to take care of the honor. And here we are in this time to take care of the honor, which is to remember the fact that it's an honor to begin with, and then to ask ourselves how to take care of this honor. And this is what we'll close with. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. How do I take care of this great honor that Allah has bestowed upon us? So much, such an honor that the Prophet Musa wanted it for himself. The love is of two types: rational and emotional. Aqli wa tab'i. You could say intellectual and natural loves. The first love, the aqli love or the rational love, is that your mind tells you, this man deserves my loyalty and my obedience. I'm not going to do anything that ever would displease this man. Your mind says this. We all have minds. We all have brains. You can't control your heart, but you all have a brain. And we come to this conclusion. So therefore, I need to know what upsets him, and what upsets him is what upsets Allah. And what pleases him is what pleases Allah. So we have to know what our deen is, and stop where there's a red light, and go where there's a green light, and slow down where there's a yellow light. That's how simple our deen is. Obligatory, recommended, makruh, or permitted. So it's our actions, first thing, that we can all control. We can't control your heart. Someone says, love the Messenger of Allah more than anything else. And you be honest with yourself, and you don't feel that. To be honest with yourself. But what you do have is the ability to fulfill rational love. And this is the love that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to have. He's not telling us to have something we don't control, but He's telling us to have something that we can all, right now, put into action. And that's what we call rational love. Then there is al-hubb al-tab'i, natural love, emotional love. That is a person's love for his children, for his sons and daughters, or his wife, or for beauty. You look at the trees at this time and you just love them. Different types of natural love. And how does this grow? Now we learn how we can manipulate this. It's not out of our control, 100%. But how do you love something? By looking at it. You keep look. That's why it's mandub to look at your parents, so you increase in love for them. It's haram to look at other women. You might fall in love with one of them. To look at other people's dunya. Quran tells us, don't go and looking at zahratil hayatil dunya, at the homes of people. You might fall in love with the dunya. Looking at something, thinking about its value, connecting it to your prayer, making salah and salam. We know how to manipulate this heart, to turn it, to grow natural and tab'i and emotional and spiritual love for the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our ulama realized there's a lot to do in Islam. So they've carved out the calendar for us. And this month of Rabi'ul Awwal is one of the months they said, let us all re-energize and focus on this month on growing this natural, tab'i, emotional, spiritual love to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ask yourself, why do you love what you love? You love what you love for simple reasons. You keep looking at it. You find it beneficial. Why do people love technology? It's beneficial. You don't love old technology because it's not beneficial anymore. Prophet benefits your life. He benefits your afterlife. Why do you love your wife? Because she looks nice. She's pretty. Why do you love babies? Because they're innocent. They're pure. Likewise, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had the most handsome features. And he was the most pure in character. Why do you might like your boss or an employee? Not because they look good, because their character is excellent. The boss, when you're sick, he takes care of you. He makes sure you're taken care of. You got an employee, that employee is excellent. He's so loyal. That's character. He has character. So look at the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have to do some work. What was the work of the Sahaba? Travel to the Prophet, risking your life. You can get killed. Following Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For us, what's our hard work? Click with your fingers for a lecture to listen to about the Prophet? Not that bad. Open a book, pick up a set of beads, and this is how we can grow natural love. It's by exposure, constant exposure. It's my brother and sister. It's a message for myself, first and foremost, to take care of this great honor that Allah has bestowed upon us. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت بارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك وحب كل عمل يقربنا إلى حبك وحب نبيك صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all those youth and elders of our ummah, mothers and fathers, teachers and students to make Iman sweet in our heart and beloved to us and go down easy. And we ask Him to make disobedience, deviation, disbelief bitter to our hearts and reject it and keep it away from us and from our families and our community and our friends and our offspring. We ask Allah Ta'ala for all those Muslims suffering throughout the world, that Allah Ta'ala makes their suffering a kafara for their sins, and all those Muslims suffering in our country, in our land, in our city, in our town, that Allah alleviates their pain, alleviates their suffering, and makes their suffering a kafara for their sins. Lastly, we ask that Allah make none more beloved to us than His most beloved, Sayyid al-Kawnayn, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.